everyone, my name's Annette and welcome to Cotto Verde. Today I'm sowing Rudbeckia. Rudbeckia are also known as Black-Eyed Susan, and I think some people also call them Gloriosa daisies, but they are basically really sunny, mostly yellow, orange, auburn, golden coloured daisies, quite often with a black centre, which I guess is why they're called Black-Eyed Susan, although I am sowing one today that's got a green centre to it. Rudbeckia are short-lived tender perennials, and what this means is that they're not going to withstand really cold temperatures, and when we say short-lived, that just means that they'll flower for a couple of years successively, but actually they're not going to keep flowering, and if they get hit by really cold temperatures, they won't survive. So most people sow their Rudbeckia annually and treat them as annuals, and that's what I'm doing. So all Rudbeckia basically look like great big yellow daisies. They're yellow or golden, auburn coloured, autumnal sort of looking flowers, and the reason they're called Black-Eyed Susan is because most of them have this central black cone to them. But because of the structure of these plants, they're going to attract all sorts of beneficial insects. The birds like them, butterflies like them, and they're just a wonderful splash of colour in your garden. Most Rudbeckia are fairly short plants, so they'll grow to about 50 or 60 centimetres. So if you're planning to use them for cut flowers or flower arranging in your home, they're probably only going to make smaller pretty bouquets rather than really tall grand ones. They're just not going to be suitable for that because they are on the shorter side, but don't discount them if you're growing them for cut flowers. They definitely look wonderful, make great additions to any arrangement, but particularly go well with some of the more coppery coloured dahlias and things like that. The time to sow Rudbeckia would be March or April, so I'd say early spring. I'm possibly a bit late because it's heading towards the end of March now, but things have just caught up on me. Most Rudbeckia will flower within 3 to 4 months. So between some flower at 90 days, some flower at 120 days. So it just depends which variety you're sowing, how long it's going to take. So just check your packet before you buy them if you want the ones that flower sooner. But I think all my Rudbeckia are going to be flowering by July, which is perfect timing for me, just in time for summer. So I'm going to be sowing them today towards the end of March. When you're sowing your Rudbeckia, they need light to germinate, or they prefer light to germinate, and they'll germinate between 10 and 14 days probably. If they don't, they'll need something called cold stratification, so you're going to have to put them in a fridge. A lot of people autumn sow Rudbeckia because of this, but you'll definitely need to be able to protect them. If you autumn or winter sow them, they're not going to withstand cold temperatures, so you're going to need to sow them indoors or in a warm greenhouse if you can do that. I don't have a greenhouse, and I'm sowing them now in March, and they'll be absolutely fine for me. So, you know, it's not too late. If you want to pop out and get some Rudbeckia seeds, then you can definitely still sow some. You can direct sow your Rudbeckia into the garden as well, but they need at least 20 degrees in order to germinate. So it's easier, and you'll get plants faster if you want to if you sow them indoors. So you can sow them outside, but until it gets really warm, they're just not going to germinate. I mean, 22 to 25 degrees is even better. I'm going to use heat mats for mine indoors, and I'm talking in centigrade here, not in Fahrenheit, when I'm referring to the temperatures. So let me just go over the different varieties I'm sowing today, and if you want to skip ahead to how to sow them, I'll put a little time on the screen so that you can just skip ahead to that time to watch how I sow them. So the first variety I'm sowing today is called Goldstem. It's your classic Black-Eyed Susan Rudbeckia with the black centre and the yellow petals. It's going to grow to about 60 centimetres, 2 to 3 feet, and it really is just this gorgeous classic looking daisy, yellow daisy. The next variety I'm sowing today is called Moroccan Sun. It's actually a mix of semi-double and double daisies, so you're not going to get all double daisies. It ranges from golden yellow through bronze to marmalade orange. Moroccan sun's a little bit shorter and probably will only grow to about 50 centimetres. Again, 2 to 3 foot tall. The next one I'm sowing is called Irish Eyes. I'm so excited about this Rudbeckia. It is a typical looking daisy, but it's got this gorgeous green centre, which is so unusual for a Rudbeckia. Again, it's going to flower from summer through to the first frosts, and it will get to about 60 centimetres tall, so between 2 and 3 foot. The next one I'm sowing is called Sahara. So the Sahara come in these lovely subdued hues with this chocolate centre, and the colours range from a mix of caramel, antique rose, burnt sienna through to a sandy sort of yellow, and they've all got these jumbo sized blooms, or supposedly they should grow to jumbo sized blooms, which I think will look really good as like a focal point in arrangements, but also just really going to grab your attention in the garden. So they are going to grow again to 60 centimetres, between 2 and 3 foot tall, and they're going to flower till the first frosts, and they should be flowering for me between 100 and 120 days. So they'll definitely be in flower in July if I sow them today. So those are all the Rudbeckia I'm sowing. Now it's really easy to sow Rudbeckia. I'm just going to use the normal peat-free compost that I use. This isn't an ad, but I use the Melcourt Silvergrow peat-free compost, and I find this works really well for me. I'm going to sow them into individual cells, and I'm going to sow 8 of each variety, and I am just going to place the seed on the surface of the compost. I'm going to make sure that it's got good contact with the compost, and then I'm going to bottom water them so the water is absorbed through capillary action and it doesn't get too wet. And then I'm going to cover them with a clear plastic lid and place them on a heat mat and wait for them to germinate. As soon as I see germination, I'm going to turn the heat mat off or take them off the heat mat, and then I'll take the clear plastic lid off as well and let them grow on. And then they probably will need potting up before I'm able to plant them out in the garden after the last frosts. So because my seeds are old, I always label my packs as to when I receive them. So these are 2 years old, and because they're 2 years old, I'm going to be over sowing. So I'm going to put maybe 2 or 3 into each cell in the hope that one germinates, because what happens when your seeds are slightly old, the germination rate will decrease. So instead of every single seed germinating, maybe only 75% will germinate. So you just need to oversow slightly to make sure that you get the quantity of plants that you want. And then I'm just going to cover them very lightly with some vermiculite. Vermiculite is not going to block the light, but what it will do is help to keep some of the moisture on the seeds, and it's going to prevent algae growth on top of the compost, which you sometimes get, especially if you're growing indoors. So all I'm doing now is bottom watering my seed tray, and I do that so that if you top water, then all the seeds get dislodged from where you put them and could end up all over the place. So I always bottom water my seeds once I planted them, and water will just get absorbed through capillary action. And then I'm going to drain this tray, put it on the heat mat with a clear lid on it. I really hope you've enjoyed watching me sow my Rudbeckia today and learning a bit more about them. It's not too late to sow Rudbeckia, so do go and grab a seed packet if you fancy joining me and sowing some Rudbeckia. Almost any variety of Rudbeckia is just going to give you this lovely splash of colour in your summer borders, and they're going to flower right through to the frosts, especially if you cut them or deadhead them. They'll just keep going and they'll be a real workhorse. And with the climate that we've got at the moment, where we have these really hot, dry summers, I actually think that we're going to need to be growing more flowers like this that can withstand drought so well. I mean, you will need to give them the occasional water, but honestly, they grow better in a dry soil than they will in a damp, soggy, wet soil. Let's hope we don't have a wet summer, because then we might have problems with the Rudbeckia. But the Rudbeckia also are just going to attract so many beneficial insects. I think it's a wonderful plant to have. It's important to have, you know, some of these more open flowers. Obviously the doubles, they're not going to be so easy for the pollinators to get into them, but I couldn't resist the colours of those. If you found this video interesting and useful, please do give it a like because it really helps my channel and I'd appreciate it. And if you want to see how these are doing in the future, then do subscribe to my channel and I will definitely be posting updates. I am in the process of filming an update about all the little seeds and seedlings that I've sown so far, and then you can see how I'm doing with everything that I've sown this year, and I will be posting that very soon. So do subscribe to my channel if you would like to see that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you all next time.